Now that you've created some student material as a Google Doc in your Drive, let's look at the Google Classroom that you set up in Google 101 to use with your students.
All right, so up at the top here, I'm going to click on a new tab, and I'm going to type in Classroom in the top and hit Enter. It will either open Classroom right up, or it will be your first option in a Google search.
So Classroom is going to be the tool we're going to use to manage and disseminate our student work. Let's take a few minutes to set up and personalize your classroom. Here we have a classroom called Geometry. So we're going to click on the three dots in the upper right corner, and we want to edit this class. So maybe when we first created it, I just put in Geometry, and now I want to actually say what period this class is going to meet with me. So down in this section, I can type in the period the class will meet. Simply click Save, and now you'll see it says Geometry Period 1.
All right, let's go ahead and open up our geometry class by clicking on the title. And first thing, let's go ahead and look at how can we create a new theme for our geometry class. Over on the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and hit Select Theme. And Google has a bunch of photos already set up in the gallery or a bunch of different patterns set up. So you can take a minute to go through and look at those to see what it is you might want for your class. Here's all of our patterns. Typically, if you get an error like that, if you hit refresh or go again, it does end up working. So I'm going to go ahead and hit gallery, and I'm going to scroll through and pick something that would represent my geometry class. So here we go here. This looks like a math problem. I'm going to go ahead and click that and say Select Class Theme. And you'll see now at the top the new theme has been added.
So once our banner is changed for our theme, we want to look at that middle section of the page where it says Stream, Students, and About. Those are three different tabs that we can select. We're going to start by looking at the About page. Once you click on About, you'll notice that top line has the title of your class, and that's also the title of the Google Classroom folder created in your Drive.
Over on the left-hand side, you'll see that you have the option to invite a teacher. So here, if I co-teach or I have another teacher that I want to be able to have access to the class, I can click on Invite Teacher, and it'll come up, and I'm going to go ahead and type in the teacher's name and hit Search. All those names will come up. Make sure that you check that it's their ID number at their RCSD one-to-one account. I'm going to select my co-teacher and hit Next. Then it's going to ask me, am I really sure that I want to add that teacher? And I'm going to say yes and invite.
So now you've invited that teacher. What does it look like for the teacher?
So for the teacher that you invited, they'll get on their Google Classroom. Let me refresh here. They'll get a classroom come up. Well, and it'll say here, like here's the geometry, and it said you've been invited to teach this class. That co-teacher, all they have to do is hit accept, and now it's added to their list of classrooms that they have.
So any teachers that you invite to also co-teach your class, they will have all the same rights as you have as the main teacher. They can add materials, they'll be able to go in and see assignments for students, and edit stuff in your class.
And as you see in the class, their icon will come up here as well, their account.
So in that About page, if you look down below, it says Add Class Materials. All right, we're going to go click on that tab, and this is where we're going to add some stuff to our class that might be materials we need our students to access throughout the year, something such as a course syllabus.
All right, so here, let's go ahead and look at how to add our geometry course syllabus. So I'm going to type in the title. So I want my students to know that this is the course syllabus. And then I'm going to look down here, and you have the option to do an attachment, something in your Google Drive, a video, or a link to something like another website. So since I have my geometry syllabus in my Google Drive, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Drive icon. And it's going to bring up all of my the recent files. If I want to look through my Drive, I can click on the Drive tab. And here I am with my geometry folder that I set up before that's got all of my documents that I want to use for my students. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that folder, and here's my course syllabus. So I'm going to click on it, go down and click on Add, and you'll see it's got a little preview here to show you that it's attached. And then I'm going to go down here and click on Post so that now it is easily available for all of my students in the About tab for easy access.
So the students will actually have to go to the About tab to see that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, next, let's take a look at the Students tab, which is in the center. This is where you can invite students to your class, or you can use the class code, which appears on the left. If you teach a secondary level and you have multiple classes of different students throughout the day, the class code is probably your easiest way to get students to join your class.
Right, and there's many different ways that you can put the class code up. You can write it on the board or bring up this page and make the page a little bigger so that they can see it from a distance.
Now, below that, I see something that says students can post and comment. What is that?
All right, so students have the ability to create posts and comment on other students' work. Now, this is a great tool to use, but it does take a lot of preparation and planning with your students and teaching them appropriate communication and how to use that. So, especially just getting started, we do highly suggest that you go ahead and set it to only teachers can post or comment. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the class, but we suggest going with that option for right now.
So later, when my students are a little more comfortable and I've taught them how to appropriately do that, I can go back in and turn that on?
Absolutely. At any point, you can go through and change those communication settings.
So on the left in the center, you also see the Stream tab. This is where students will get their assignments, questions, or announcements you post to the classroom. And we're going to be looking at that in the next video.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.